everyone. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be here today and to give you a little bit of training in one of my areas of expertise as part of the FHT Stay at Home series. Now, I really wanted to have the opportunity to meet a lot of you at the Congress in Birmingham, which would have been coming up just in a few days. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. But what I'm able to do right now is be able to bring you that training, or one of the trainings I was going to do, in the comfort of your home. And welcome to my home. Isn't it amazing what technology can do? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nikki Collinson-Phenix, and I wear two hats in the world of therapy. So firstly, I am a therapist. I have been a chiropractor, massage therapist, acupuncturist, mind-based therapies. I've been trained in all sorts of different therapeutic services, and I've been working in the world of therapy for over 20 years now. My primary work is as a chiropractor, both human and veterinary chiropractor, but as you know, as therapists, my toolkit is big, so I bring out all sorts of different therapies according to what is needed for the well-being of my patient. Now, when I'm not in clinic, when I'm not in the treatment room, what I'm doing with my other hat is I help coach and mentor incredible therapists from all around the world to help them learn how to market their business, whether they're just starting out or whether they're a bit further along and they're just not getting the bookings in the diary. And so when I'm doing that, you know, over 20 years, I've learned a lot. I mean, I've made some pretty epic cock-ups in 20 years, and I've also made some really great business decisions. But what I have done is I have learned so much. And so now I'm transitioning over 20 years of knowledge of running practices, both in the UK and abroad, of being mobile, of working in other people practices. I've done it. And now I use all that knowledge to help other incredible heart-led therapists to create therapy businesses that fulfill them both personally, enabling them to live a life that they really want to lead, and professionally allowing them to make a massive impact in the world and to make a huge difference. So what I'm going to be talking to you about today is I'm going to be talking to you about the number one key question and issue and problem that comes up when I'm coaching and working with my therapist, whether that's in a group program, whether that's one-to-one, or if that's just a friendly chat. I will be asked a question. What do I do about this? What do I do about this? How do I market this? How do I market that? And my first question back to them is, tell me who your ideal client is. Tell me who your target audience is. Tell me who is the person and the type of people that you are wanting to attract into your business. And nearly every time I ask that question, I get things like, well, anybody, like everybody. I can help anybody and everybody. So I'm just marketing to everybody. And therein lies the problem. Effective marketing does not require you or need or work effectively at all if you try to market to everybody. So what I want to take you through today is I want to take you through my ideal client masterclass, so that at the end of this, you're going to have a lot more clarity on why you need to understand who your target audience is, why it's really important, and to get you thinking about who that person is for you, and also thinking about any changes that you might need to make in your current marketing strategy or the words that you're using, so that you actually start to speak to your ideal client and you actually start making connections. Because ultimately, as therapists, you want to get visible. Right now, there are people out there who are struggling and they need your help. Now, maybe you can't be hands-on right now, but you are going to be able to be hands-on. You know, there will come a time when you can go back to doing that. And even if it's not, there'll be ways that you can help people online. So there are people out there right now that need your help. But if you don't use the right words and terminology to connect to those people, they are never going to know you exist. And perhaps you, with your life experience and challenges and everything, you could be the exact person that is needed to help them. You could be the one that's got every single facet in place that says, I'm the one that can help you. And if they don't know you exist, they're not going to get the help that they need right now. So you owe it to your future clients or patients to know who your target audience are and to know how to speak to them and why you need to know that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just screen share over onto my little PowerPoint here. Okay. And we'll just full screen it there. Fabulous. So this is my Nail Your Ideal Client Masterclass. This is something that I do with my guys all the time. And it's an incredibly powerful masterclass that really gets people thinking about, I didn't really think I needed to know this stuff. And now I'm going through this training, I'm realizing I really do. I'm going to shift Mia a little bit up into the corner out the way there so that you can get the full power of the PowerPoint presentation. All right, so welcome to the masterclass. So what will we be covering in this masterclass? So we're going to be covering lots of different things, and I'm really open and transparent about my life and my business, and so you're going to learn a bit about me too. So you're going to be learning what is an ideal client. Let's go back to the basics. What is an ideal client? When it was first asked to me, a good few years ago now, but I'd been in business for quite a few years. When it was first asked, a business coach said to me, Nikki, who is your ideal client? It was like a whole nother language. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean ideal client? What is an ideal client? So for those of you that might be listening and going, I don't even know what that is, let's go back to the basics. What is an ideal client? And why do you need to have one? Why is this important? Then we're going to talk about the negative impact on your business if you don't have a target audience defined. And when we go through some of that, you might sit there and go, actually, that's me. Some of these things may resonate with you. Where do you actually start in identifying your ideal client? Where you are just as important as your client. Then we're going to go through Nikki's example. So I'm going to talk you through my journey of how I identified my ideal client so that you learn a bit about me and how this applies in my business. Because sometimes examples really helpful. How to create your ideal client profile and how all of this positively impacts your business, and then a few next steps. All right, so let's get cracking. What is an ideal client? So an ideal client is your dream client, the one that you literally just love to work with, the one that you love to see booked in your diary. Now, if we're really honest, sometimes, I'm going to say over 20 years, there's been times when I've looked at my diary and I've had a little bit of a sinking feeling and thought, oh my goodness, I've got some challenging people in today, or I've got a challenging person. Now, actually, if I was really honest, they're not my dream. They're not my dream clients. They don't bring out the best in me. But when you look at certain names in the diary, you feel that, oh, I'm really excited they're coming in today. Like, I really connect with this person. I love working with them. So your dream client is that one that lifts you, that you give the absolute best to. And when the two of you are in that treatment room, there's like a complete connection between patient and practitioner. This client, a dream client, your ideal client brings out the very best in you. The client that you are the best person for them to see. So you are uniquely qualified to be the person that they need to see. Your ideal client and you connect with each other in an effortless way, okay? The two of you meet, it is complete and utter fluidity. It's just ease and flow, ease and flow. It's so lovely, it doesn't even feel like work, okay? It's that lovely when you're working with this person. It doesn't feel difficult, the time flies by. You just come out of there and you feel lifted. They get you and you get them. And the feeling of working with your ideal client is so powerful. And it's an utter joy to be doing the job that you're doing if you're working with your ideal clients. So why do you need to identify who your ideal client is? Why is this so important? So that you have complete clarity on who you are uniquely qualified to work with. It's so that you are able to design your business so that it is tailored towards those people. It allows you to be in a position to create a marketing strategy that actually resonates and connects with this specific group of people. So we're talking marketing now. To be able to create content that grabs the attention of this specific group of people, and to be seen by that specific group of people as the person they need to see to help them. So this is all part of your marketing strategy, is knowing who is it I want to actually spend time, money, and energy bringing into my practice. Do I want to bring in people that I don't really enjoy working with? What if I could open my diary up and I just see appointments after appointments of my dream clients? Wouldn't you just wake up in the morning and think, I'm so happy to have this job. I'm so blessed to have created this wonderful business where I get to work with my absolute most incredible people. If you know who your ideal client is and you learn how to market to them, that is what you can potentially create, and what I've been able to create in my business. And it's incredible. So I talked to you about when I've been asking people in the past, some of my therapists. So if I ask them, so who is your ideal client? These are classic examples I have been given. So if I was to ask you now, who is your ideal client? I've been told, I can help everyone. What? I can just help everybody. I can help everybody. I help everybody who needs to relax. Well, that would be like the whole world. People who need to take some time out for themselves. That's who I help. People who need to take some time out for themselves. Well, that's probably most of the whole world. I help anyone who has tight muscles. Yeah, that's likely to be a significant percentage of the world. I help anybody who's stressed. Anybody who's stressed, I help them. Okay, well, in this day and age, that's a fairly large proportion of people. So basically, it's like everybody. So that would be everybody then. Now, in practice, we probably could help everybody. You know, if somebody comes into me with a particular pain or a problem or a discomfort that is in my realm of capability, yes, I can probably help them. But ultimately, I want to create a business by design. I want to design a practice that literally brings out the best in me. So when it comes to marketing my business, you don't want to be marketing to everybody. Because the problem is, when you speak to everybody, you actually speak to nobody. Your messages and your posts and your flyers and anything that your status updates and whatever you're doing, they are so generalized, they don't connect to anybody. So I'm going to tell you a story about one of the times when I first was starting out as a massage therapist. So I've been qualified about 3 months. We're talking this a long time ago now. So I've been qualified. No, this was right at the beginning. So I got qualified and I'm like, I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm awesome. I'm a really great therapist, a really great massage therapist, and like literally people are going to be queuing up at the job. So I'm going to make some really pretty flyers. So I made up these beautiful, I mean, we didn't have all what we have now, but we had Word, and I made this beautiful foldable flyer with a lovely flower on, and I put like Nikki Collinson, massage therapist, and inside I put some very, very generic stuff about massage, and you know, you could see me for £25 or whatever, and this was my number, and I got loads of them printed off, and I'm like, I am going to open my door and people are going to come. And I went out and I put these flyers everywhere. Like I literally put these flyers everywhere. And then I sat back really smug and I thought, the phone's going to ring. Now, you know what? Not one person, not one of those flyers converted into a paying customer. Not one. And at the time, I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand. Well, they were beautiful. I mean, they were pretty. I made them. They had a pretty flower on and everything. They were lovely. Why would somebody not want to come and see me? And now I know why somebody didn't want to come and see me. And that's because they were the dullest, most boring, unconnecting, unresonating flyers in the world. They were so generic. Like, achy muscles, come and have a massage, £25, da 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 da. They didn't speak to anybody. They were the most generalized flyers in the world. And this is what I see over and over again with so many different therapists who have got incredible talents, but they just don't know how to market themselves. And that was a massive wake-up call for me. It said, you don't actually have a clue what you're doing to market your business. Because the reality was, when I qualified, and I know it is for some people still now, but not everywhere, but the reality when I qualified is I was never taught the business side of therapy. I was taught how to be a massage therapist. I was taught how to be a chiropractor, and that's a long degree. But I was never taught how to then convert it into a business that was going to help me pay my mortgage or help me pay my bills. And that was a massive wake-up call that day of like, do you know what? You genuinely have no idea what you're doing. You need to start learning this stuff, because you've just left a really high-powered corporate job to go into the world of therapy. You've qualified as a massage therapist while you do your 5-year degree. You are now in the world of therapy, and you haven't got £1 coming in the door right now. So you need to learn this stuff. And that's when I started investing myself into learning about all this stuff, and which is what I teach you now. So it's so important for you to understand, if you try to speak to everybody, you will speak to nobody. So what happens if I don't have a clear target audience? So let's have a look at some of this. If you don't get clarity on this, you will not have an effective marketing strategy. Sorry, I just got a little frog in my throat then. You will not have an effective marketing strategy. You will have absolutely no idea how or where to market your business, because it's not everywhere. No one will have a real idea of what on earth you actually do. The people that need you will have no idea you even exist. It's very unlikely that you will be earning what you should be earning or what you would like to be earning. You won't have a clear plan on all your content. So copy, when you're writing stuff, you'll just be writing random Facebook posts, random flyers, random adverts with no structure or plan of action at all. You will literally waste time writing posts, emails, and flyers that achieve next to nothing in terms of bookings or new customers and clients into your business. You will be completely lost in a pool of other generic therapists. You will not have a diary that is full of amazing dream clients. You may right now be struggling to get bookings on a regular basis, and no consistency within your bookings or within your income. And you will absolutely not be seen as an expert or a specialist. And yet, you are an expert and a specialist, but in the rest of the world, that won't be showing. No one will know you exist. So where do you start on identifying? You're like, hell yeah, that's me. It's not happening. I'm trying to put my stuff everywhere. What do I need to do? Where do I start? So what you're going to do, there's 3 elements that I use to work out who your target audience are. And it's bringing together the power of your own personal story and your own journey, the things that make you you, the stuff that you bring to the table, your ideal client's story, what's happened in their world, and then what your business for and what it stands for. So when you marry together your background, your experiences, your therapy stuff, but also your own personal journey, your business story and your customer story, that's when you bring the fusion of all 3 of them, is when the magic happens. And that's what often people refer to as the sweet spot. You marry up all 3 of those things, and it's beautiful. You then can start creating some amazing, amazing stuff for your clients, and you start bringing in those people that really bring out the best in you, and people start picking up the phone. So let's go into section 1 then. Let's talk about you. What I want you to do is, in a minute, perhaps pause this and start to write, get a piece of paper, and I want you to list out a few things. Firstly, what are you passionate about? Tell me about your hobbies, your interests, your sports, activities you love. I mean, just basically anything and everything that lifts you and floats your boat. Tell me about the stuff that's in your world right now. Now have a think about, have you had a health journey of your own? Have you had, whether it's your own or within a loved one, have you had something that is now a real integral part of your story? Often as therapists, a lot of therapists have gone on their own journey to learn to be a therapist because of their own journey. Is that something that makes up quite a large part of your story? What experiences has life given you? Relationship experiences, parenting, career, these are now an integral part of your story. So I want you to list out all the key things that make you, you, okay? Aside from, we're not talking qualifications right now, we're talking about what makes the essence of you. And on that list of paper, that sheet of paper, I want you to just circle the things, the key parts that really resonate with you, that you feel very passionate about. Now, some of these things could be negative stuff. You could be a cancer survivor. You could have been on another journey. But right now, you know, working with people with cancer, for example, or the whole things around cancer, that's really important to you and it's really passionate to you. So they don't all have to be good things, just things that really are the stuff that are an integral part of who you are right now. So let me tell you about my answers to these questions, okay? So what am I passionate about? So I'm passionate about horses. I've had horses all my life. It's one of the reasons that I chose to be a veterinary chiropractor, because I wanted to treat horses. I've competed with horses for a lot of my life. It's a really big part of my world, is horses. Travel, I love to travel. I mean, genuinely, I'd be traveling, you know, all the time if I could. I used to live abroad. I have plans to take my family on epic travels one day, maybe a little bit later than I had planned with everything that's going on, but travel was a big part of my life. Personal development, I spend all the time on personal development stuff. Family, of course, family. I've got 2 kids, I've got a husband, I've got my family, I love them to bits. Humanitarian work. I have charitable work in Uganda. I have my own charity in Uganda that works with children and families, and I have a school out there. My humanitarian work is really important to me. Women's empowerment, the concept of women's empowerment, everything about women's empowerment, my whole journey brings out a passion for empowering women. So those are really key things to me. Have I had a health journey? Yes, I've had cancer scares. I've had back injuries. I've still got back injuries. There's something that does still flare up a lot. I've had carpal tunnel. I've had carpal tunnel surgery. I've had knee issues since I was a kid with chondromalacia patella. I've suffered with headaches and migraines, and I've had sinus surgery. I've had headaches and migraines on and off. They're much better now, but historically for like a good 20 years. Loads of hormonal and gynae issues, pregnancy health issues. I'm a terrible incubator. I've had crappy stitched up cervix, you know, you name it. I've had the whole lot, multiple miscarriages. I've had my fair share of health journey. What positive, negative experiences life given me? I grew up around domestic violence. There was domestic violence within my childhood, within my family at that time, and alcoholism. I grew up, my mum was a single parent. I've also been a single parent at a point in my life. At different times in my life, I've had debt and money struggles. I've had great career opportunities. If we look at the positive, I've had fantastic career opportunities. I've had some wonderful travel and adventure. I've had many years competing with horses, and after all those pregnancy health stuff, I've had the joy of actually becoming a mum, despite having to be on the fertility roundabout. I've got 2 beautiful children. So I have a whole lot of facets to my journey and to my life, but which of the above resonates with me the most and which I'm the most passionate about on a day-to-day basis? And that is horses. As a chiropractor, it's a huge part of my work, and it was a big part of why I was even training to be a veterinary chiropractor. And it was also a huge part of what I was doing outside of work. So when I started trying, you know, a good few years ago, starting to work out, right, what is this ideal client business? And I took myself through this. I realized that the one thing that really floated my boat was horses, okay? But I did this journey and then thought about it. So I urge you to do this. So why horses, Nikki? Horses are a complete passion of mine. I also understand the physical needs and requirements of the horse rider. I'm a horse rider. I've been a horse rider for most of my life, and I've competed with horses. I know the physical needs of mucking out and everything. I know what it requires to be a horse rider and a horse owner. I understand the desires and goals of the horse rider. You know, I've competed on horses. I understand. I've competed in lots of different disciplines since I was a kid. I understand when people are talking about, I've got a goal for this competition or this competition, or I want my horse to be able to perform this or do this. I get that. I know what that feels like, and I understand. I understand the implications that come as a result of physical challenges. So if somebody is struggling physically, I know how that is going to affect their ability to look after their horse, ride their horse, compete their horse, everything. I know that, okay, because I know what the requirements are. I understand the emotional side of those challenges. I've walked their journeys. I know what it feels like, that when you have got a big competition coming up, but you're in pain and you might not be able to do that. I understand how damn frustrating that is, to have these passions and not be able to do it because of physical limitations. I understand the language horse riders use. Now, I'm fairly certain all of you have got different passions and interests, and you'll know that in each of your little areas, there's a whole nother language. And I understand the language horse riders use because I'm completely fluent. I'm as fluent in equine language as you can come. So in my area, horse riders in my area know that I am the most qualified, not just as a therapist, but in my life experience with horses and as a rider, to be the best person for them to see. It's our common denominator, and it's a no-brainer for them. You know, they sit there and they're like, well, you know, I've hurt myself. I need to go and see a chiropractor. I'm going to go and see Nikki. It's like, she's a horse chick. She's a horse person. She knows what's going on. So it's resonating. The moment they have that, they know that connection that we have. So I want to break this down. So you're a horse rider, and you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, do you know what? I'm in pain right now. I need to go and see someone. Like, who am I going to go and see? So when I say versus a local competitor, I don't mean that in the sense of competition, because I do believe there's a lot of work for everybody. But what I mean is, I work in a multidisciplinary clinic, so there's several chiropractors in there. So if we just compare me against one of my colleagues, okay, so I'm a horse rider, I want to go and see a chiropractor. I believe I need to go and see a chiropractor. Who am I going to go and see? Oh, let's see. Well, do I go and see Nikki? Because Nikki has owned horses of her own. She's competed with horses since a child. She's been a part of the local horse community since she was a teenager. She's regularly seen at horse events. She understands all the horse disciplines and the physical requirements of each. She speaks and understands the full equine language. She understands and appreciates the implication of being physically challenged and being a horse rider stroke owner. Now let's look at one of my colleagues who has nothing to do with horses. We're both in 2 treatment rooms. I'm in treatment room 1, he's in treatment room 2. Person's there. Where do I go? Treatment room 2, my colleague, 0 experience of horses. Has never ridden a horse. Does not have a clue about the different disciplines of horse competition. Does not have a clue about the physical demands of a horse rider. Has no idea when people are talking in horse language or any of it means. Has no clue about the implications of being a horse rider or owner and being injured. Hasn't got a clue about anyone in the local horse community. Not involved in the horse community at all. So you come in, you're a horse rider, you're in trouble. Let's just be really simple here. Who are you going to go and see? Are you going to go and see the person who hasn't got a clue when you're going to be explaining stuff to them, what on earth you're talking about? Or you're going to walk into the other room, in room 1, and see Nikki, who's just, you're going to sit there, offload it all, and she's going to say, I totally get you. I understand everything. This is what we're going to do. Which of those people are you going to want to see? I know who I would want to see. and that horse rider is going to want to come and see me because I'm going to get them. So let's talk about your dream client. So pen and paper time. When you think about your life and your story, and you have selected the parts of it that resonate the most with you and your business vision, then we need to get very clear on who it is that you want to attract into your business based on the answers to a few questions. For example, do you have a preference over working with male or females? Do you have any particular age range? Do you have any preference over marital status or occupation, education level, so much more? There's lots of different things. It's to actually now pick that common denominator and then work out who it is you actually would really like to work with. Now, as a little tip here, often our dream clients are a version of ourselves a few years ago, okay? If you're completely and utterly starting out and you can't think about that, you can think about just somebody that you know in the world that you really connect with, and if they were to come into your clinic, you'd love to work with them. But often it's usually a version of ourselves. So my dream clients are basically me a few years ago. So what I will do is I will ask them to attach a sheet. I've got a little question sheet which I will pop over to FHT for them to attach as a PDF for you to download. If you want to use it, they'll be able to do that. So start to think a little bit deeper. Now you found that common denominator, start to explore that a bit more. And sometimes it's nice to give them a name as well. My ideal client is called Sarah the horse rider. So after filling out the questionnaire or doing it yourself on a pen and paper, I want you to write down, what is it about those people that makes you want to help them, and why? Why that particular group of people? Why is this important to you? What is the connection? It could be a sport or hobby or interest. It could be a health journey or a life experience. What is the connection? Why are you the best therapist to help this client? So you saw that example with me. I am uniquely qualified as a chiropractor that has a massive equine background to see horse riders as my patients, more so than the other 7 chiropractors in my clinic that have nothing to do with horses. What makes you uniquely qualified? So think about your skills, your life experiences, your passion to be the absolute best therapist for them to see, and look back at the examples that we talked about just now. So now let's talk about your business. So we're bringing in our sweet spots. So we've talked a little bit about you and your story. We've talked a little bit about the type of person that might be coming in. Now we're going to put the third bit in about your business. So you've brainstormed you, and then based on that, you've brainstormed your potential dream clients. So when you look at your ideal client and you sit there, so for me, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I just had a diary full of horse riders and horse owners? I do now. That's the thing. That's my diary, is predominantly horse riders. When you look at your ideal client, does it fill you with joy and excitement that a diary full of these people would make your business feel like you were hanging out with friends? That, remember, that ease and that fluidity. We're not talking about crossing professional boundaries. We're just talking about the ease of working with them, that it would be easy, fluid and effortless to work with these people because the connection is so strong and the desire to help them is so great. Like, you're like, I get you so badly. I know exactly the challenges that you're going through, and I am going to bring the best of me to the table to get you back on your feet as soon as possible. If yes, then, well, hey, fantastic. You've finally got yourself a little bit of clarity on who your dream clients are, who your ideal client, who are your target audience, the people that you really want to attract into your business. If not, if you're still struggling with this, then the best thing I can say is to go back and revisit the earlier action steps until you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach that you go, yes, these are my people. These are the people I want to work with. This is the common denominator. Now, let's be honest, horse riders that I'm working with, some of them have had fertility journeys. Some of them have had cancer journeys. Some of them have had other journeys. Some of them have had relationship issues. They all come with that. It's not that you're ruling that out. It's just what is the main common denominator between the two of you? And that's horses. So you can always bring in, when you're talking to them, if you know, as you're going through other areas, you can still use other examples in your life to connect with them. But we're talking about what is the big common denominator. So for me, that's horses. So if you have got your wahey moment, congratulations. Okay, why is it important? Because now you can start to build your business completely with this ideal client in mind. Okay, so for me, Sarah. So when you plan content, so all your written words, content, imagine you are planning it for Sarah, or on insert name here. When you write a post, you are writing it for them alone to read. When you go live, for those of you that do go live in your business, if you don't, if you would go live, you are speaking. When I go live as a chiropractor, I'm speaking to Sarah. That's who I want to connect with. When you create offers, products, services, packages, it is with them in mind. When you are networking, either offline or offline, it is where you will find them. You'll actually go to the places where you'll find them. I mean, let's be honest. I want to attract horse riders. I'm not going to hang out at the gym. I'm going to hang out at the horse events, because that's where my people are. When I'm writing a post, I'm going to start using equine language and words that they would understand, so that someone reads that and a horse rider will read that and go, she gets me. That's who I want to see. When I go live, I'll start talking about things specifically to do with balance or dressage or particular transitions or any of those language when I'm talking, if I'm going live, so that a horse rider is going to watch that and go, she makes sense. She understands. She's in the horse world. I want to go and see her. When I'm creating offers and products and services, I will make offers and services specifically for horse people, because they're the people, they're the only people I market to, is horse people, because they're my dream clients. If I'm going to invest time and money into marketing, I want to market to the absolute dream people I want to market to. I only market to them. When you're designing your Facebook page or website, it is designed completely with them in mind. So my website's a design for Sarah. So your message, your branding, your whole business gives a very clear message as to whose attention you're trying to grab and why and who you are wanting to pick up the phone. Okay, you're actually saying, I'm trying to connect with you. Okay, so that's why when therapists are often asking me a question, the answer I need to give them is dependent on who their ideal client is. So if they'll ask me, should I market here? Should I do this? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I say, well, tell me who your ideal client is first, who your target audience is, and then I can answer you. If somebody can come very clearly and say to me, well, this is who my target audience is, I'll go, great, that's fantastic. So what you need to do is think about this, this, and this. That very rarely happens. Most of the time, I will say, who is your ideal client? Who's your target audience? And I just get no idea. This is the absolute number one key foundation that you should have in your therapy business, is understanding who on earth you want your customers to be. Okay, because you cannot go into branding or your websites or Facebook posts or flyers or networking or anything if you have no idea who you're doing it all for, because it's not everybody. So you've brought all those three bits together, you found your sweet spot. You are now working with the people you absolutely love to work with and help. Your clients are working with the absolute best therapist for them and their needs. Your business is built in a way that makes it very clear who your target audience are and why they should come and see you. You are now seen as an expert in your specific area of expertise. So for me, I am the horse chiropractor. I'm the person that the horse people go to. So I'm the specialist horse chiropractor. You don't need to have a special title. People's perception is go and see Nikki because she's the horse chiropractor. You know, she understands my horse. She understands me. I'm going to go and see her. And so that means in many cases, you can command a higher fee because of the specialist nature of your work. I'm not just in a general pool of chiropractors. No, I'm the horse chiropractor. You come and see me. If you're anything to do with horses, you go and see Nikki. You are epic. And everybody who needs you in your area, they know you exist, or they will do soon. And life is good. And you know what you're doing. You've got strategy. Okay. This is probably going through your head. The most frequently asked question. Does this mean I only ever work with my ideal clients? Like, do I shut the door to everybody else? Absolutely not. You don't leave money on the table, guys. What it means is you have a strategy with your marketing. So you're only going to invest your time and energy in marketing your business to your dream clients, because that is the only and most effective way you're going to get to converting all your marketing into paying customers. You need your marketing to connect and to resonate. Otherwise, it's a complete waste of time. However, you're always going to get people that are nothing to do with your ideal client. Are you going to say no to them? Are we going to say, do you know what? I can't help you. You're not a horse rider. No, we're not going to do that. We're a therapist. We're going to help people. I can have a horse rider come in, and then within the space of a few weeks, I've got the horse rider's husband, the horse rider's parents, maybe her kids, her best friend. We've got the whole family connection coming in. Am I going to say no? Oh, sorry, I only treat the horse rider. Not at all. I would say I probably treat about 80% of my diary is my ideal clients. And the other 20% have come from recommendations. And I love seeing them, but I'm not marketing to them. I'm not going to invest time and energy marketing to people over there and people over there. I only want to market and spend my time and energy on people that I really connect with. But as a result of how powerful that connection is with that horse rider for me, it will then open the door to connect to, for them to bring in more and more people into your business, because that connection is so powerful. They're going to go and say, you need to go and see Nikki, she's awesome. And they need to go and see you because you're awesome. Okay. But you've got to get this first foundation in place. But absolutely, this is all about an effective marketing strategy. You definitely don't shut the door on other people unless you genuinely don't want to see that person, which is your absolute right. So in summary, hopefully by now you understand the need to have clarity over who you are targeting in your business, and that it is not everyone. Following this class, you will have the tools, the worksheet will be popped on here to bring together your story, your client's story, and your business to create the sweet spot where the connection and the magic happens. You will now be able to plan content, marketing, and your whole business around this. Hopefully you'll be on fire now. Hopefully this has allowed you to sit there and think, this is possibly where I might have been going wrong, or this is like really interesting. I've not thought about it this way. I've never had this level of clarity. Hopefully it's filling a little bit of a fire in your belly, thinking, I haven't had this strategy. I haven't had a marketing strategy. So when you start to look, when it says you're able to plan your content, what I want you to think about is, are you somebody that's currently writing content that just says, tight back, neck and shoulder massage, £25? Are you one of those people? What I want you to do now is think about the words and the messaging that you're using. So maybe, for example, I would be saying, if I was a massage therapist, I would be saying something like, horse riders, like, are you getting really pulled at the moment? Have you got really strong horses and they're pulling your shoulders out your sockets? If that's the case, then pop in and let me see what I can do to help you. You know, but I've literally said, I've talked in the language of those. Horse riders, are you currently finding that your dressage scores are really crappy because you're not sitting balanced in the saddle? and that your horse is not performing to its optimum potential, maybe you need to pop in and let me just check you over, because there's obviously maybe some potential imbalances that we need to work with. That's not just, oh, do you want to come in because you've got backache? Because I might be able to help you for 30 quid. This is about getting really, really using language that you know will resonate with them. So when you now, I mean, today we've talked about just working on helping you identify your ideal client. When you then start to expand it more within marketing, is looking at how you then take your ideal client and how you use that as the basis of how you brand your business, how you base it on all the copy that you do in your business. Marketing is an entire module in itself, how you take this knowledge about your ideal client and then you learn how to turn that into an effective marketing strategy that's going to convert into paying customers. But this is the absolute number one foundation that you need. You cannot do any of the other stuff unless you know who your ideal client is. So I really hope that that has helped. So continue to work on this. I hope you found it useful. You'll see on there that I talk about a program on here. That program is something that's not running, is running at the moment, but it's not my purpose of doing this masterclass. This is a masterclass that I deliver often. And so I wanted to use this PowerPoint presentation to bring it to you today rather than redoing one. So let's just come and stop sharing and come back to me. So I really, really hope that that has helped you today. What I had hoped to have done when we were in Birmingham is to actually work a little bit with some of you live in the room to be able to help you get some clarity and to do that with you. Unfortunately, we've not been able to do that, but I am so pleased that through the FHT Stay at Home series, I have been able to bring you an essence of some of my training, and I really, really hope that this helps you in a little bit. There will be a link on here to my website and my community, my Facebook community, which is the Profitable Couch. Any therapist is welcome to come and get support there for anything to do with the business side of therapy. All we ever talk about is the business side, not the medical side. We're all about the business. Anyway, it's been an absolute joy to do this training for you today. I do hope it's of help to you, and I hope to get to connect with you in person at some point in the future. All right, take care now. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.